All right, what do we have in store for Virgo season? I've got the Four of Swords here at the bottom and the Two of Cups, the King of Cups, the Five of Wands in reverse. Before I was pulling cards, the energy that I was getting is that the truth must come out. The truth must come out, and that there's something in regards to matters of the heart that we have been balancing out. There is a sense of justice that we've been skirting around because there's something that is true that we believe is too good to be true. And we are learning how to step into be the bigger person in regards to truth and owning that integrity, even if that means, like, basically we're learning how to have that inner flame be contained within us and to march forward. The Leo eclipse has expunged us of a lot of false idols, where a lot of us were sitting in silence. We're sitting in silence, wondering what that means. And we are kind of learning how to tap into our own inner light and how to step forward as the bigger person and do the right thing in favor of justice. This Virgo season is going to see the last Pisces eclipse, and so there are some dreams. I'm hearing I dreamed a dream from what is that from? There is something where we're going to allow ourselves to dream a bigger dream than what we may have had the guts to dream before, because there's something that is settling. The dust has settled in some way. We have been percolating on something. During Mercury retrograde, we were percolating on something. The Hierophant and the Queen of Pentacles. There's something about our belief system going to be balanced out. And the Two of Cups, in this case, I'm seeing it as divine feminine, divine masculine alignment and union. And with the Queen of Pentacles, there is a certain level of groundedness in the body that knows truth, our ability to sense and know truth based on our experiences, that is currently aligning with um, certain regimes and systems. We are basically we are recognizing the truth in our bodies, which Virgo is really good at. Virgo also kind of has to learn the hard way to some degree. So there is something about, like, we are recognizing that there are certain truths that we know to be true within our body that are needing to align with this higher regime or these systems. And some of that involves working less hard because we are not wanting our energy to be siphoned in ways, like, we're not wanting to we're not wanting to ignore our bodily limits. We are kind of remembering a truth from childhood or a dream from childhood that we are kind of reinvigorating. Um, Virgo season is often related to, like, back to school season, but this Virgo season is going to be different because we won't have the South Node in Virgo like we did last year, and so there's going to be a little bit of a level of peace that we didn't have last year. I feel like there's an area in our lives where we have been lying to ourselves. And we are not going to be able to ignore this. Like, I'm really seeing, like, a sense of justice bubbling up, and also with the nodes in Leo and Aquarius, we are going to have to fight on behalf of justice to some degree. And there's something where we know something to be true, whether or not institutions or the media or government or whatever, like, the man or whoever's in charge may or may not be validating our truth. I'm thinking about how, like, a lot of economists will talk about, oh, the stock market, everything's doing great, but that might not be reflected in our real wallets or in real people's daily lives. With the Queen of Pentacles, this has to do with the day-to-day tasks And Virgo as a mutable sign is kind of about taking care of business day in and day out. There is a little bit of a dissonance between um, a sort of authoritarian sense of collective truth versus your day-to-day daily life. And there's something that has been percolating in the background, um, that we are recognizing that there's a certain truth that is too true to ignore, even if we don't have all the evidence yet. It's sort of like recognizing a truth that you've experienced. So it's like, and also Virgo and Gemini are both ruled by Mercury, but Virgo is all about Virgo is an earth sign, and so it is about visceral, felt, known truth, not just a logical hypothetical truth. So there's something here where it's like we are trusting our own experiences and fighting for what we know to be true. And I feel like this is happening on a collective scale. And this has been bubbling. I'm honestly seeing this as like a revolution bubbling. And especially since this is happening after this Leo eclipse that is going to be quite intense. It's sort of like there is a truth that's bubbling to the surface that I feel as though the Leo eclipse is kind of making way for. And Virgo is all about doing the right thing and being of service. So, what else do you need to know? Magician in reverse, the Four of Wands in reverse. I feel like you need the reminder that, like, you are a part of the solution and you are a part of the greater puzzle. You don't need to be Superman. You don't need to save the day. And I think that our ego, we're going to likely be coming off of some sort of ego death from like this South Node in Leo eclipse. We are having to trust that even if we are only being true to ourselves day in and day out, if only we could be honest with ourselves, that is what we need in order to move things forward. This feels like taking steps forward internally to be more honest with ourselves and to ground ourselves in our daily life, because we're having to get ourselves out of these traps. We're having to understand that there are things that we know to be true that we have to advocate for. We, the people, I want to say. Yeah, because with the Hierophant here and the Eight of Swords, there's something internally where we are having to let go of limiting beliefs, but also recognize that these limiting beliefs didn't come from just our minds. Like, we are having to learn to trust our own internal compass a little bit more than one overarching collective shared truth. But we're finding what's kind of interesting about the dynamic that I'm picking up on is that a lot of us have felt the need to mask. A lot of us has felt the need to like be normal and professional and show that we are good workers. We can engage socially normally. And a lot of that a lot of that masking has had us ignore our own truth. And so we're reaching a point of, I think that each of us individually are experiencing a heightened justice sensitivity to some degree, where we are individually coming to our own conclusions about truths that we can no longer ignore in our own personal daily lives, because Virgo a lot of the times has to do with daily life. And we're realizing the way that we have been getting in our own way. And so, also with the North Node in Aquarius now, a lot of us are going to be a lot more comfortable letting our freak flag fly. One can say we're going to be a lot more comfortable with that. And so, this is about learning the hard way through our own daily lives what is true for us. And so, a lot of you might be experiencing things like, you know what, a 9 to 5 schedule doesn't work for me, or you might be realizing, this dating apps is not working for me, or there's something there's something that I feel like there has been some sort of societal expectation that you've been putting on yourself that doesn't really feel true to you. And with the North Node and Aquarius, we're going to be pressured to recognize our authenticity and embrace our quirks. And this is a earthy, physical, visceral feeling of a truth that can no longer be hidden. Um, Judgment that we have to be loud and proud about. And I think that there's something that feels really sweet and innocent about this. And I also feel like we're going to quickly find that we're not alone, and that our truth, the more we can embrace our own truth, the more it will be allowed to be mirrored by other people. I feel as though this is a time of recognizing our limits and fighting on behalf of our own limits as a collective species, so that we can embrace the Pisces eclipse dream. Because here's the thing is like Virgo is all about what's practical, but Pisces is about that North Star and what we are dreaming. We are coming to this conclusion that we need to dream bigger, like as a society. And the Virgo part of our chart is helping us to see what are the practical steps that we can take to get there. Strength in reverse. And like, it's going to be scary to move toward this bigger dream if we are not aware or in alignment of the actual facts that are at play to support this dream. And this starts with each of you individually recognizing your own truth. So if you stop lying to yourself and you recognize that you're not the only one, you're a part of a greater collective from the Pisces perspective of things. It's like each individual person kind of locking in, recognizing your own truth, having a heightened sensitivity for justice, and then kind of stepping into line or in alignment. I'm hearing Formation by Beyonce. Beyonce is a famous Virgo here at the sun. We're going to have to get comfortable with our own truth so that we can shine a light on it and move forward and recognize that we're not alone, so that we can all fight for a greater sense of justice together. Because it's hard to do hard things, but it's easier when you recognize that you have the truth on your side. And Virgo is very, very discerning. And you might be hesitant to make a move quickly, or you might be hesitant to put too much effort into something. But really, it's like there's a childhood dream, or there's a greater dream that you gave up on and that you were disillusioned by in the past. The moon and the two of wands. So you haven't made a step forward in some area because you're a little confused of what is going to happen. And so I guess this is kind of aligning the Virgo and Pisces area of our chart, where in order for us to dream bigger, we're each as individuals going to need to be very clear about our day-to-day tasks and being in alignment with our own truth. And it is recognizing that the dream that we are ushering in is true. And it is trying to regain faith in the fact that the truth will prevail. And that you are willing to be of service to the collective, but you are not willing to be used and exploited. You are not willing to be the one that is doing all the thankless tasks and holding everything together and ignoring your own truth, which again, Virgo energy does like to be of service. And so I'm predicting a heightened sense of justice sensitivity in general. Magician in reverse. And also rest is resistance. I can't recall the name of who. It's the nap ministry who coined that term. But resistance doesn't need to be anything super bold. Like, resistance can come in small daily ways of being more aligned with your own truth and being more of an advocate for the truth of what your community needs. Queen of Swords. So we're going to be feeling this Queen of Swords energy this Virgo season. Go easy on yourself as you learn to embrace more of your own truth. Allow it to give you strength to not be afraid to speak out on behalf of truth and to be of service to your community members and to advocate for that. Okay, I hope that this resonates. And yeah, with the Eight of Wands in reverse, I would just say too, you know, this is kind of a season of laying the groundwork for a lot of big moves that are going to be happening later on. Um, it feels like small little details that are clicking into place, and it starts with you. It starts with you internally trusting your own truth and getting in alignment with that. So, yeah, happy Virgo season, and comment below. Let me know how this resonates.